welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Through this series, we aim to open up conversation about getting into teaching, discussing the training process and the life of new teachers in the industry. Whether you are interested in teaching, are a new teacher yourself, or are just simply curious about the life of a teacher or a trainee teacher, we hope you enjoy the episode. So, for this episode, we will be talking to Lola, a trainee teacher going into her second year of study. Okay, so hey Lola, thank you for joining us today and taking the time to talk to us. Could you give us a quick introduction into yourself and what you're up to at the moment?
Of course, I have just finished my first year at university. I went to Reading University and I'm going into my second year in September, which is very exciting. And yeah, just off for my holidays at the moment. Summer holidays, having a bit of a chill, a break from uni life.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, lovely. And what made you want to kind of become a teacher? Did you feel like you always wanted that?
Yeah, definitely. I think since a very young age, I knew I wanted to do. It was between that and dance, going off and doing like musical theatre. But for me personally, I thought that teaching was much more realistic. And in reality, it is deep down what I really wanted to do. 100%. I've known since I was teeny tiny. I used to have my teddies laid out and mark their schoolwork at home and things like that. So I've known for a very long time that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, that's really sweet. My sister used to do the same. I think I used to do the same. I had a little
definitely.
register and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so would you say, like, from your time at school, so you've always wanted to be a teacher, but do you feel that there is any teachers that stick out to you, or like memories that you have at school that kind of pushed you more towards teaching?
Yeah, 100%. I was quite a sporty, small person. I enjoyed all things running, sporting and things like that. And we used to do, in my old primary school, we did Prince of Wales and here in Cheltenham. And I had this one teacher, my year 4 teacher, and his name was Mr. Cook, and he was so special to me, especially because he was in charge of all the sports side of things usually, and he used to really push me and make me do what I wanted to do, and it was he very definitely sticks with me. I will always remember him as a teacher.
Yeah, I think that's really nice. Most people have that, don't they? Like a teacher that really sticks out with them. I know I did with like my history and drama. Like I found like they really like inspired me. Yeah. To like learn more and get like excited about learning, which I think is such a big thing, isn't it? So how have you found like kind of going on to your course and everything? How have you found studying it so far? You enjoyed it?
I've loved it. It was absolutely amazing. Well, so far it's been. We had to get into uni, we had to do an interview process.
Okay.
Which depending on which uni, it can be online or in person, and with Reading it was in person, and they were so lovely, and they still are. Even with every lecture, all the lecturers are lovely. They make sure you're okay. You can get in contact with anyone you need. Yeah, I've really enjoyed UER so far. It's been really good, definitely.
And how did you find that kind of interview process? What did you kind of go through in the interview?
It was stressful at the time. I had 4 interviews back to back, 4 weeks in a row. And
it's quite a lot, isn't it?
It was a lot. I had only one online, and then one uni I didn't have to interview for, but the rest of them were like back to back. And it's a lot, and usually it differs with each university, but you'll have usually a group interview where they sort of listen. We had to go in with a book of our choice and sort of come up with a lesson plan behind that book. It might change now with obviously the new interviewees coming in and stuff like that. But and then you have your one-on-one interview, which is where they ask you. They usually send out a set question list, which give you an idea of the sort of questions they're going to ask you, and which really helped having that in the back of my brain of what they're going to ask. But they do obviously ask some rogue ones that you don't know about to sort of test you and things like that. But they're there to help you. They're not there to they want you to get in, really. They want you to do well. So they're not there. They're there to test you, obviously, but not in a harsh way. They want you to be okay. And it's all my uni interview processes were absolutely fine.
That's nice. And also, like, I think to have that variation as well of like the test in the classroom can also give you a bit of an insight into like, oh, am I okay doing this? Because I suppose it's, putting you on the spot in that situation. So when you were doing the kind of lesson plan, were you in front of any students or anything, or was it just purely in front of like a panel of people at the university?
Sort of did it where you were sat in groups, and some unis you read a part of the story to people who were sat in front of you, but you were still sat with the rest of the cohort, if that makes sense. So it was very a group thing. You weren't singled out. It was, you're doing it all together, you're working together, but you have your own ideas of what you're bringing forward to the table. And with Reading, they just let us crack on, and they just walked around and listened to us and like overheard our conversations between each other, which I found quite nice, because it also means you connect with people. Like, I have girls on my course that I know and I'm friendly with from my interview day, and they all made a massive WhatsApp group after our interview to keep in contact with each other and to see what unis we all got into and stuff like that. So you do make good connections with people, definitely.
That's really lovely. And I suppose as well, like having like watching other people and how they're running their sessions as well, like you can get inspiration from them, but also like kind of puts you at rest a little bit, get more at ease watching other people.
Really interesting to see what different people do with things, like how they take on the same book as you, but a completely different lesson plan to what you've done. It's really interesting to see how people do it differently.
That is really interesting. Yeah, I would find that like interesting to look at what other people are doing. Okay, so now we've spoken about kind of your interview process and everything. What would you say would be like something you would recommend to people to prepare for their interview process? What would be like the first thing you would say to get sorted for it?
I definitely make sure that you're aware of exactly what you're doing on the interview day. That's what I did. I went through the email so many times to make sure I knew exactly what I needed to do. With certain unis, they gave you, well, they didn't provide it for you, but they assigned you a book. You had to use that book. So I went and bought the book. So I had it physically with me, and physically so I could read it rather than like having to listen to it on YouTube. I mean, you can easily do that, but personally for me, I preferred having a physical copy, so I had it with me. So the questions that they provided us, I wrote them all down on flashcards, and then sort of wrote down a rough idea what my answer could be, and then I'd have my mum read me the questions, and then I'd sort of try and not remember exactly what I've put, but I had it there as an idea. So it gave me some hints of what could help me. And I definitely say go through exactly what you need to do. Don't stress too much, because you're not going to help yourself if you're really... it's natural to get stressed and nervous about things, understandably, because it is an interview. And they are full on, and it is. It's definitely pressure, but try to not get too nervous about it. And also with some of the unis as well, we had to do English and maths tests. So the English ones weren't so bad, but for me, my maths isn't great. So I got a primary education, like primary school age, maths textbook, and I was like,
good idea.
So I tested myself and like reminded myself how to do fractions and stuff like that. So it's you can just get them off Amazon. They're really good, and I use those to remind myself of how you work out certain equations I couldn't remember to do. And then usually they have tests in them, so I could test myself and then see if I've got them right. And
That's really nice.
That definitely helped. I did that the night. That is Reading, I think it was. Oh, it might not have been Reading. No, Reading was just an English test. I think it was Winchester that had a maths test. So I did that the night before to make sure I had it fresh in my brain of how to do certain things.
That's a really good idea. And I guess like also a tip that not everyone would necessarily take on board to like
definitely,
you know, you wouldn't necessarily think of that yourself to get kind of those sort of
my mum definitely helped.
That's really good.
She got me the books, she did things like that, which was very lovely of her. But just try and be prepared as possible. But it is a big thing to just not stress too much. They're there to look after you. They want you to do well. They you to go to their university, really. So definitely.
That's such a good... That's really good advice though, to try and like do that and get resources for yourself beforehand, because you're so right, like you don't think in your... I suppose when you're going into teaching or something like that, you don't necessarily remember all this stuff that you had done at school, especially if you're going into primary like it was, you know, you learn all of these things so early on, and then you kind of lose track of like the more basic level things that you need to remember. So that's really good advice. Okay, so what would you recommend as well for people going into the teacher training? So after your interview process and everything, what did you kind of do to prepare for your actual training processes, and maybe like your placements and things? Like what did you use?
So for the course, it's just getting basic supplies. Obviously, like, even like going to secondary school, getting the basic things you need. And then luckily with Reading, I had a girl I knew who was already on the course, and I paid her a certain amount and she gave me all her textbooks. that they need.
yeah.
I know, I was so lucky
Yeah,
that they needed on the course, and I have needed them. I've
Yeah.
used them during my lectures and things like that, because when they give you like, they usually give you like prior reading before a lecture,
Okay.
and they're usually from those books. But they also, with Reading, they have reading lists, so those books are
Okay.
also on the reading list. So
Okay.
you don't have to have the physical resource; they're also online. And then with placement, Reading were quite strict with what we needed to prepare, which was so useful though. So I got in. I would advise research about the school you're going to.
Yeah.
Look at their website. Look what the school's morals are and their beliefs and things like that. Just have a nose around the website, get to know things. And then I emailed my mentor, who was my class teacher, and she was my mentor for my placement. And I introduced myself to her, let her know a bit about my background, about what I enjoy doing in my like personal life, like dancing and things like that. And then what work experience I've done. And yeah, usually definitely I found getting in contact with my mentor helped, because it gave her an idea of who I was before suddenly meeting her.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely getting to know your school that you're going to made a big difference for me, because I had that understanding behind it, that because I went to a C of E school for my placement, so I knew what sort of things they get up to and things like that. So yeah, definitely have a look into your school.
So for anyone who wouldn't know what a C of E school is, what is it?
It's a Church of England school, so it depends on the school usually what they do, but like in assemblies they'll sing hymns, they'll do like a prayer at the end of assembly. And what was really good about my placement school, I found that when they did the prayer at the end, whoever was taking the assembly would say, you don't have to join in if you don't want to, but just sit there and think about what the topic of the assembly was. So for the children that don't necessarily want to pray, they had the option of, you could sit there and have a think about what we discussed today in assembly. And the children who did want to pray can bow their heads and pray.
Okay, that's nice. So yeah, that's more inclusive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so okay, that's really interesting actually. Like, thank you for sharing that, because yeah, I think that would be really useful for people going into that start those processes. Especially introducing yourself into mentors and stuff to your mentors, sorry. I think that is really useful, because obviously then that gives you a little bit of a rapport with them straight away, which is really nice. And like, talking about experience and things, did you do any like work experience and stuff before your placement?
Yeah, so I was really lucky, because my mum's a receptionist in a private school back at home.
Oh, okay.
So I did work experience there for 3 days, and I went across all years in the primary school side of it. So I was in nursery for 1 day, which was quite interesting to see early years and what they get up to. And then I was all across the years then, Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2. Definitely helpful to get work experience, I think.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, you don't have to have work experience, but they usually like at unis to say that you've got experience to build upon. And then when I used to dance, I used to help out with the little ones from year 7 up to year 13. I helped out with the primary ballet and tap bunch. And that's definitely helped me as well, because you build those connections with the children, and that enhanced my need to teach even more. Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing your experiences with your you're doing like work experience and everything. I think that's really interesting, and also really useful for people kind of going into that as well, to know that it's not necessarily needed, because I think people can get anxious about that and like worried that if they haven't done it, that they're not going to be, wanted as much as that
understand
experience.
Yes.
But I suppose it's all like how you come across through it during the interview process to the people that, at the university. If they can see that you're still like an animated person and like are doing well with like your lesson plans and stuff, you've still got a really good shot of getting in.
Yeah.
But would you say it gives people the edge slightly if you do a bit more work experience?
A lot of people I know on my course did definitely do work experience, whether it be helping out at a sports camp. It can be little things that you don't have to necessarily go straight into a school. You can help out at different events and things like that. Like, I know girls on my course that only did sports camps during the summer holidays and things like that. But then I know girls who have been in a classroom. It depends. But I also do know people that haven't done work experience, and that's absolutely fine. They still got a place on the course. It's not vital, I suppose, but I do think it would help to get some work experience, but it doesn't have to necessarily be directly in a school. Just have something in your back pocket. It usually does help.
I think even like like you said, doing into like dance classes and things like that, like even working with kids in that sort of way, like it might be quite nice for people to know that you don't have to do like the, I guess, like stereotypical work experience. You could do it in like the like drama schools or dance schools or like football clubs and stuff like that as well. So would you say you're more of a practical learner? Like, do you enjoy the placements and did you enjoy your work experience kind of a bit more than doing the coursework side of things? Or are you much more of like a studier, like coursework side?
I'd say I definitely like the practical side of things. I'm much more of a practical learner. I loved placement. Placement was definitely the highlight of my year for me. It's so interesting being able to go into a school and actually see someone properly teach.
Yeah.
And the ways their methods of teaching compared to how maybe I would teach it was definitely really interesting. And with our lectures, the more practical lectures like PE or like in science when we go outside, we've done bug hunting, which was so much fun. And that was really good. And so that's, I think, I definitely prefer. I'm not saying I'm not academic, but with my course, there's no exams, which is lovely for me.
Really nice.
Really nice. There's not many assignments we have to do. I think we did, I want to say about 5 or 6 over the full year.
Okay.
So it's not too heavy. And a lot of them for me were on my course were presentations. So you have to make a presentation slide and do a voiceover. And then otherwise it was obviously like the full essays, but they're not horrendous. They're not life-threatening. It's not the end of the world. And if you don't do as well if you wanted to, I needed to remind myself that in particular, it is okay if you don't do as well as you were expecting. You're only in first year.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's right.
It's all a learning curve, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
And how long were your essays, did you find? Like, are they usually like 5,000 or?
It ranged. I think the most words I had to write was 2,500.
That's not too
So
bad.
they're really not bad. They're really not bad. And one English assignment I really enjoyed because it was broken down into different sections. So I had to do like a book review.
Okay.
One part of it. And then that meant the other half of it, so the actual essay side of things was a bit shorter. And that was the same with the PE assignment. I had to create an activity for children to do at home.
Okay.
And then so that took up a big chunk of the assignment. And then so my essay side of it was a bit shorter, which that I like having, rather than just having set, this is your question, write an answer, having like different parts of it you can build into one assignment. I liked.
I suppose that gives you quite a good like amount of variety and everything because I think it can be quite daunting going into university, especially like if you've had any sort of break in between A levels and university. I know I struggled with that when I was like, oh, am I gonna have to do loads of essays again? I don't even think I can remember how to write an essay. And then to have them as a kind of shorter ones is quite nice, really.
And the lecturers provided us with a lot of support. They do assignment lectures. So before they set an assignment, we'd have a lecture that just discussed the assignment and what we were going to be doing in it.
That's really nice.
But obviously you kind of expect too much support from them because at the end of the day, it's your work. You need to get on and do it, which was a shock, I think, for some of us, especially when some lecturers are more lenient on providing support, whereas some of them are like, you go off and do it. But it's okay. It's fine. I got them all done, and that's the main thing. Passed them all. It's okay.
No, I think that's good to know for people that there's a bit of variety in a lot of courses,
and you can also get in contact with them as well. We have our academic tutors.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love my academic tutor. She's lovely. So you can easily get in contact with them when you need a bit of help. I have done with assignments. I've got in contact with her, let her know about stuff.
Yeah.
And they're there to support you and they will help you.
So that's separate to your lecturers and things?
Yeah.
Tutor.
Yeah, we have an academic tutor which they're there to support you. They provide meetings and so they just update you on how we've been and like we get to just have a chat pretty much. It's really lovely. And then my academic tutor is quite high up in my course. So we've given her feedback on our course, like what's good, what we can do better, things like that. So it's really nice having that person there as support.
And do you have that like once a week or is it
it's less? It doesn't happen as much as like once a week. It's like more every now and then, if that makes sense. I wouldn't even say it's like once a month. I mean, you can get in contact with them and meet up with them more, but when she gets in contact with us, it's not as regular. Like some people don't see theirs at all, which I don't think. I feel like you should if your activity hasn't got in contact with you to meet you, I think you should get in contact to meet them, because they are there to help you, and it is good to get to know them, definitely.
Yeah, and I suppose just having that extra support if you're like stressed out about anything or any aspects of your courses and stuff, that's really nice to have that person to lean on. Okay, so what would you say has been the most challenging part of your first year so far?
Oh, for me, I didn't really enjoy the assignments, yeah, particularly because like I said, I am much more practical, and sometimes I do struggle with my time organization and stuff like that, and like time management and making sure I get things done. I'm a bit of a procrastinator sometimes.
I can
To be honest, exactly. And so sometimes knuckling down and being like to myself, being like, no, come on, no, you need to get on and do it, is definitely sometimes a bit of a hard pill to swallow. But once you get it done, it's such a rewarding feeling. But yeah, I'd say probably assignments, but they're not awful though. That is just for me personally. Because some people crack on and they're amazing with assignments. It just depends on the person.
It is so dependent, isn't it? I think I've got a lot of friends who, like, I went to university with, or even at school and things, and like they were really super academic and like could just whack out an essay and not even like stress about it. Like, it wouldn't make them sweat. Whereas for me, I had to take a lot more time over things, and I felt like I was maybe a little bit slower on that side of things, but because I think I'm like quite a perfectionist in that kind of way, and I would overthink it maybe than they would. But I think that is just different people, and like knowing yourself and how you manage your time, and maybe giving yourself a little bit of extra time if you are more of a procrastinator, I think is definitely really useful to like know what type of learner you are, because I've definitely learned that about myself.
100%.
And things. But yeah, that's good that you kind of know about that. But do you think that that's something that you need to work on more in second year, or?
I do think so. I think as well, marking gets a bit harsher in second year. So knowing that I need to get things done earlier, starting them earlier, and I think I will, because you learn your lesson during our first year. First year is sort of your time to explore, and like you want to do well, but it's not detrimental to your course. So yeah, definitely knuckling down and trying to get things started earlier, I think.
Okay, so after talking about all of that, I think it'd be quite interesting to know if you're more of a like, I don't know, where would you prefer to study? Where do you find kind of works best for you? I know I was very much like someone who liked studying in like a cafe when I was at uni, kind of like the whole vibe of like people watching at the same time as doing your work and like getting a nice coffee or something like that. But the libraries and stuff are really nice in my university campus as well. Like, what's your preferred place?
Personally, I liked doing it in my accommodation. I liked having it in my space, and I found that I'd crack on and do it more. I know a lot of people on my course used to go to the library. That was our library in Reading is massive and has different floors with like quiet areas, like working in groups. So when I had like group projects, I'd go to the library with my group and we'd work all together. But I know a lot of people love working in the library, and there's so many different areas that you can go. I've done it before and I have tried to work in the library, but it just doesn't suit me as well as I think I like working in my accommodation. I think I just like knowing that this is my space, and that I like breaks when I'm doing my work. And I feel like in the library there's less that you can do as a break, whereas if I'm in my accommodation, I can do some work in the evening, I can go make my dinner, eat my dinner, come back and carry on working. And then I've also got, I mean, and I don't think you're supposed to work in your bed, but I also have the option I can work at my desk, or I can sit somewhere comfier and work in my bed. I did a lot of working at my desk though. I found that I got on better by doing stuff where I'm sat down in an upright position rather than like laying down a bit, you know what I mean?
It's quite nice to have that variation.
Yeah, definitely.
I quite liked having the mix of that, to be fair. I do think I got a little bit like stir crazy in my accommodation centre, so that's why I feel like I to the cafe areas and stuff, because I like
I have done some assignments in cafes and stuff, and I like it because I'm very much a people watcher. I like nosy what people are doing, and then also having that option of like you can go up and get yourself something nice, like a sweet treat or a coffee. And I think there's lots of different places that work for people. It's just finding what best suits you.
I think it's nice to have a mix of all of them as well. Like, I feel to have that variation, like you said, so you don't go a bit stir crazy if you're working too much. But that's really interesting. Are you someone who likes to take notes on like a laptop or a pen and paper, like in your lectures and things? I know I was someone who really liked like the pen and paper because I don't know, I just found it quite nice to be able to write down notes sort of thing by hand. But I know a lot of my friends did a laptop and things, and they like to like type the notes up in lectures. What's your preference?
Well, when I was in secondary school, I was definitely pen and paper. I always just like physically writing something down. But when it came to lectures, I just found it so much easier using my laptop. I mean, it depended on what lecture. Sometimes you do write stuff down with a pen and paper, but with my lectures on my laptop, I'd get the lecture screens up, like the PowerPoint up on one side of my laptop and then my notes up on the other side. So I can follow my own pace rather than having to quickly type down what the lecturer has put on the screen. So I'm still following along with what the lecture's saying, but I can do it at my own pace rather than having to do it really quickly and panicking. I take my time.
Yeah, because it's so easy, isn't it, to start like panicking.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I've got to quickly rush through. Like 100%. I do. I remember doing that, especially when I was trying to write it all out. No, stop. But I think a lot of my lectures were recorded.
Yes, we get our lectures recorded as well.
Yeah, because I know they had stopped doing that at one point, but then maybe they started up again in some universities.
I think it's certain lectures we get recorded. If there's like a really important one, they'll do it, and then certain lecturers just choose themselves, like their own personal preference, to get their lectures recorded.
I think it's nice, isn't it? So you can like then refer back to it, especially if you've got a subject where you've like got exams or anything like that. Okay, and how have you found, so when you're studying and like doing the placements and everything, how have you kind of found your work and social life balance? Like, have you been able to keep quite a good balance there in first year?
It's a tricky one to balance, I think, like your work life and your personal life. I've definitely found I got along really well with my flat. I was so lucky because I know some people have absolute nightmares, but I was really lucky with my flat. So like when it came to around the time where I'd have assignments, I'd do my assignment in the evening, but leave time in the evening to go watch a film with my flatmates. And we'd do that like weekly. We'd all watch a film together because my flatmate bought a projector, which I think is a really good idea.
Yeah.
And so we'd watch them all together. And then obviously I usually do work in the day on a weekend. And then if I'm going out in the evening, I've got time to go out, I've still got time to get ready. It's definitely reminding yourself that it goes both ways. Like, yes, uni life is important, but your work life is also important.
Yeah.
And also that, yes, work life is really important, but you need to give yourself time to have a little bit of fun. Like, it's uni at the end of the day. You can still have time for yourself and time to go out with friends and time to go out in the evening. Like, you're absolutely allowed to do that, but reminding yourself that don't let that take over. Don't let the like personal life, like having fun and partying every day, take over the fact you do need to get your work done as well.
Yeah, I think it's such a tricky thing to get that balance, especially in first year, especially in like the freshers period where everyone's just going out all the time. But I think they usually have that week, don't they, where like you don't have as much going on. It's more like intros.
Yes, they have then. So obviously during freshers week we also have our welcome week for our course. So during the days we'd have like an hour or 2 hour lecture where they were just like being like, this is what the plan is for the year. And then obviously you had your freshers week where you could do or whatever your uni provides for freshers, and freshers week is really good. Like, make the most of freshers week. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's nice to have that. It's like you will get into everything.
Yeah, and you get to know people as well. Like, that's how I've really got to know my flat, and it also branched us out because like my flatmate was friends with a girl from another flat who brought in a girl from her flat who is now like my closest friend at uni, and I would never have met her before. And it's just through different connections you find like your people, which is really nice.
Yeah, it is like that, isn't it? That's really nice. And do you feel like that kind of formed bonds with everyone during that freshers period?
Definitely. You get like bonds through different people. Like, I've had a bond from my flatmates, I've got my course girls who I'm really close with, and then I've got my dance girls through joining the dance society who I'm also really close to. So it's nice having different groups of people that I'm friendly with, like rather than just being set to one group of people. I've got a nice array of different characters and things like that.
And would you recommend joining societies and things like that?
100%. Dance society is a big part of my uni life. I auditioned to join the competition team, which I absolutely loved, and we go to all these different unis competing against other unis, and I dance every week at uni. I love it. It's one of the main parts of my uni life for me. I'd really recommend societies. It expands like the people you know, like rather than just being your course mates and your flatmates. You get other people that like I would not have met half the dance girls if I didn't join dance. Like, because also you expand to like older years as well. Like, I'm friends with like fourth years, but I would definitely not have known. So definitely I would recommend joining a society.
Yeah, that's good to know. I think as well for people listening, like when you're maybe feeling a little bit like wobbly about going and starting university, like to know that you can join a society and then you'll have like, you know, people there that are also trying to make friends and,
Definitely.
you know, it is nice. Okay, so kind of going into a bit more of like a, I don't know, like a fun question, like what would you say is your favorite on campus lunch? Like, are you more of a like, do you like to buy things on campus? Do they have good options, or are you more like a food prep person?
Well, I like my food prep.
Yeah.
I will make a big batch of something like a bolognese and then
Lovely.
pack it up and put it in the freezer. Because you can have options of halls, you can have catered halls, or self-catered halls. And then with Reading, they did like meal plans. So you can buy like bronze, silver, or gold. And like it gives you a set amount of times you can go to the on-campus canteen.
That's nice.
And what I liked about that as well is some girls on my course had the full, like they were fully catered and they get guest swipes. So I didn't want to make tea that day. I could go with them and have like my dinner in the canteen on campus, which is really fun. It's nice to have something a bit different.
Yeah. So did you do it with non-catered? Like
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did self-catered, so it meant I was making all my meals for myself.
Yeah.
Which I found absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm fine with making food
Are
for
you quite
myself.
good?
Yeah, I don't mind it,
Yeah.
but I know, so it's definitely like it was new for me because you're very used to your parents cooking for you at home. So my mum showed me a lot of her recipes,
Yeah.
which definitely helped. But if you're not 100% sure about making your own food, you can easily go down the route of being catered or not,
Yeah.
or having that half and half where you can be slightly catered and have like 3 meals a week,
Yeah.
which my flatmate had, and then the rest of the time he was self-catered. So
Yeah.
you can make that decision for yourself.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on universities as well, because I knew where I went, it was only self-catered.
Oh, really?
You could have, yeah. I mean, on the campus that I was on anyway, I know that there was like, because I was on a city campus, so it's slightly different to one of them that were a little bit further out. So I think then when you were living on campus, it's slightly different. Whereas I was in like the city accommodation, so we were very much self-catered. And I did quite like the fact that I could like prep food myself and like keep it in the fridge like you say, but also like I loved the on-campus food.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
We always had like, I don't know, they started to do like lovely salad bowls and stuff. We had like falafel and like all the good stuff, and then they did really nice like pizzas as well. So I'd kind of like treat myself sometimes to one of those lunches when you like can't be bothered to make yourself lunch, because obviously in the evening making dinners and making sure you got breakfast and stuff like that. So I found that quite like nice to have on campus, especially when you're like studying.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It can be quite a lot, but that's a good idea with like the bolognese and things like that, like batch cooking. I did like doing that as well. I was always like a quick I would make like a quick 15-minute meal, which would be like, I would always have like a stir fry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a classic.
So good.
You can't go wrong with a stir fry. I used to get these little packs that had all of the veggies in there. Yeah. And then just get some rice and stuff and soy sauce or whatever. And I loved that. Do you have like a 15-minute meal that you like recommend?
Because our shop in Reading is Asda. That's our big supermarket.
That's
so
a good one, actually.
Yeah, I know. And they do that. They've got their really good. They have stir fry kits in Asda. So they've got the veg and then one pack of noodles and a pack of sauce. And I used to add in prawns to it. God, it was so good. And they had loads of different like sauce flavors, so you could pick which one you wanted. That was definitely a good one. And then to be fair, bolognese doesn't take too long to cook. It's not bad. And then I used to like making my burger bowl. That was good. It was like a Big Mac in a bowl.
That's really
it was really good.
Was it without like bun and stuff?
Yeah, without bun.
Like a salady sort of.
Yeah, exactly that. Like a salad base with just some meat and then some sauce and onions and things like that. Yeah, that was good.
That's a really good idea. I think I might try that.
Yeah, you should.
That's a really good like dinner for after work. Actually, like a quick one. But yeah, that's really good. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to a bit of like a quick fire round. So these are kind of just a couple of shorter questions with short answers. If you're ready, take that on. Okay, so what's your favourite go-to headphone? Are you more of a like big headphone person, AirPods, or like do you like the stringy earphone?
No, I like an AirPod.
Yeah,
definitely.
See, I love a string.
I do like a string.
Yeah.
I don't mind a
That's what
string,
you-
but I don't
it's-
have
it's-
the. No, I know
I
what
think
you're on
it's
about.
like a chord.
Yeah,
a
like a
chord. I
chord.
think,
Yeah. I do like. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
like those ones as well. But I've got AirPods at the moment.
Yeah, because I find that like the headphones that are like Bluetooth, I always feel like it's a bit buzzy in my ear. I don't know.
Oh, really?
why.
I find it can make my ear ache sometimes if I don't
Yeah.
ever have them for too long.
I think I've got sensitive ears
Yeah,
as
me.
well. But I do like the big ones
Yeah.
because where they can like completely block
Yeah,
out the
definitely.
sound. Okay, so what are you listening to on your headphones when you're studying? You like a podcaster? Are you more like
It depends. It really depends. I like my playlist. I've got my set playlist. It's a bit random, and then sometimes I must listen to a bit of musical theatre. That works for me. And then I can't remember their name, but I've listened to this podcast before. I enjoy that one. And Emma Chamberlain's podcast. I like that one as well. So yeah, sometimes it differentiates between like sometimes a podcast and then sometimes just my music.
Yeah. I think I used to listen to like study jazz music.
Yes, I've heard that's good. Like classical music.
Yeah, I'd love all that sort of thing because I feel like it would get me into the zone. Because sometimes if there's like words and stuff that people are saying, they're trying like get a bit distracted and a bit like, oh, a little dance or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so if you've had a long day on campus, you're ready to kind of put Netflix on, what would be your like show of choice at the moment? Do you have anything that's like your comfort show?
I'm really back into my Harry Potter phase at the moment. I know, it's so good. I've just been watching the films over and over and over again recently.
But they are comfort.
Oh, 100%, and it makes you feel like all cozy and warm.
Yeah.
And then they've also got the Harry Potter audiobooks on YouTube at the moment.
Really?
Listening to them as well.
Yeah, that's really good. I think a lot of people end up watching stuff that they've already watched as well.
I watch things over and over again.
I used to watch Gilmore Girls.
Yes, I love Gilmore Girls.
Like stuff like that. Because it's just like a homey, cozy movie,
100%.
but not movie, like a series.
Series,
but also
yeah.
like Harry Potter's a
Definitely.
cozy movie. So this is a good one actually. So you're on campus. It might have been like a late one last night if you've been out on the town. You've had a busy day of lectures. What's your go-to pick-me-up? Like, are you a coffee person or a little sweet treat?
I was going to say I've done a lot of sweet treat runs this first year. We've got a co-op on campus, which is literally like a 2-minute walk away.
Yeah.
So we've done a fair few sweet treat walks. Also, my flatmates, we really love going on a little walk at the end of the day to like have a little bit of a calm down or go for a nice little walk all together. And we've got a beautiful lake on campus, so we'll have a walk around the lake, and they've got lots of like baby ducks and baby swans at the moment, so that's geese and things like that. So we just go and say hello to the birds. It's so lovely.
So sweet. Yeah, I'm quite like it if I need to study as well. Sometimes I'll go for like a robe like Pink Lucasade.
Yes,
you know those ones that I just find them quite good. You're like really feel like you're flagging.
Yes,
but yeah, a bit chalky. You can't.
Yeah, no, you really can't go wrong.
Or some sweets.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is one essential you're bringing with you in your bag for on campus? Like when you go on campus and study, what's kind of your must-have?
Obviously, need your laptop. I take that to every lecture with me. Campus card. That's an important one. So you need that one because obviously with our accommodation we scanned ourselves in and out. That was an important one. I love my water bottle.
I was going to say my water bottle.
Yeah, I love my water bottle. Yeah, 100%. I've got one of the Awala ones. Ooh. Oh, I use it all the time.
I don't have even heard of that brand.
You need to invest. They're amazing. It's the best thing I've ever bought, and I bought it at uni because my water bottle broke at university. So I bought myself this new fancy one, and I love it.
It's nice to as well stay hydrated.
Yeah, like 100%. You've got to do it.
Okay, and then this is the final one of our quick round. Are you more of a morning person or more of an evening person?
I reckon more of an evening person, 100%. I'm not great with the early wake ups, but I will do them. You've got to do them sometimes. I like a good lie-in. Yeah. But I love an evening. I love winding down, like relaxing. I always have my little herbal teas at night. Yeah. And putting something, like you said before, putting something on Netflix. Yeah. It's a big no-brainer for me. Yeah. Cozying down and watching a film with my flatmates, like you said before. We do it on a regular. So
is that your kind of wind down? Yeah. Is that how you wind down in the evening?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think that's really nice. And also, do you find with the morning and night owl sort of thing, are you more of a studier in the morning? Do you find that that's when you get your buzz for studying and then you really want to relax in the evening, or do you sometimes get a second wind in the evening?
I can usually get a second wind in the evening, definitely. And there'll be a rogue moment where I'm suddenly oh, it's time to do something. Yeah. And I'll suddenly get a burst of motivation. Yeah. I mean, a lot of my lectures have been in the morning, so it's that is my time to work for me is in the morning. But I can usually, like, when it comes to assignments, I can pick it up usually throughout the day at any point.
Yeah.
But I do like having that sudden burst of motivation, even getting it done and feeling like I've got to a good place.
Yeah.
There's like a big difference.
I always used to do that because I really struggle with mornings.
Yes.
And I'm not a morning person. I wish I was. I wish I was like someone who could get up at 5 a.m. and be like, I'm going to the gym. I'm getting.
I've done this, and this. Great.
Whereas I'm just not.
No,
I wish I was. But I found, especially at university, like I would obviously now I'm more in like work life. I do kind of have to get back into like the 9 to 5 schedule. But when I was at university, I remember I would be like up until like really late at night because that's when I would get like my creative mind would start coming to life, and then I would get like a second wind of like of stuff. So it's interesting to know like people are like. Okay, so that was our quick fire round. So now we've just got our final kind of end off questions. What are 3 takeaways from your first year of studying that you would take into your career as a teacher, do you think?
Definitely what I've learned on placement. That's a big one for me. Like seeing how my mentor taught, I've really adopted that, and because I just loved her style of teaching, so that was a big one for me. And then behaviour management.
Okay.
Like, especially in the classroom, we haven't explored it massively in our course yet because we learned more about it in second year, but we had one lecture on it, and it's like really insightful, like interesting how to work with behaviour to suit a child and like how you act in response to them. Yeah. Like, you're going to have to act differently with each child. Like, so one method will work for one and will not work for another at all. Yeah. And then I reckon we've done a lot with children with like additional needs, which I've really enjoyed. It's very insightful and I've loved it. All learning about all the different styles of teaching and like how to work with different children, I've really, really enjoyed. Yeah, that's really interesting. And if you were to look back on your training experience so far, what advice would you have given yourself if you're looking at yourself as your first year self without, knowing everything that you know now, what would be like the advice that you would give to yourself? Definitely to not stress as much. Like, take a step back, take a chill, you're going to be okay. Yeah. Fine, it's first year, it's going to seem a lot, and it is a lot, obviously it's a lot, but it's okay, you're all right. Take a breather, it's fine. And then like just time management, like come on, Lola, not get on it now. Like I would definitely say that to myself 100%. And what would be your time management kind of what would you tell yourself is a good practice with time management to kind of get more in the routine of doing? So I know some people like set reminders on their phones or those sorts of things. I had a diary which obviously has the days of the week on it, and I'd write in it exactly what I was planning to do on each day, how many, like even with assignments, I do like how many words I do each day. Yeah. So then I'd stick to it, and I think pushing myself even further to definitely stick to it. Because I think I had those Sundays where I was like, oh, it's okay, I can do it tomorrow. Yeah. But like having that thing where like you're just putting more work on yourself. Like if you just get on and do it, you can have more time to chill. Yeah. Like, and then you don't have that sudden rush to you with like getting it all done. I think I was guilty of that as well. With like time management is such a massive thing. Yeah, 100%. To get to grips with for sure. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one last one actually. Is there anything you think you could like improve upon like next year, apart from like time management and things like that? Like maybe your skills as a like teacher going into a school, like is there anything that you think you could improve on in that way? Yeah, probably, definitely. Like I think having confidence more like in, especially on places like in the staff room, like we had people come and speak to us, but like you're also allowed to speak to them. Like you're allowed to you're not just in the way, you're there to learn. Like you're allowed to get to know people, you can speak to people, like improving on that like professional behavior and like getting conversation with all the different teachers, I think is something to definitely improve on, because it is quite intimidating going into a staff room for the first time with a bunch of teachers that have gelled because they've worked with each other for so long, and being suddenly the newbie, like it's all right, like you can go and get to know people. And I really got to know my mentor, and she was just absolutely amazing. She was incredible, just what I needed for the first year, so definitely. But yeah, no, that's really good. And also I suppose that all comes with like time and experience and stuff. So going into your second year, I'm sure you'll be a lot more confident. Hopefully. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us today, Lola. That's been so lovely. So that's kind of a wrap on our first episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and we'll be back for another one shortly.